Wow. I love my retro handheld, and I'm super excited about the upcoming Steam machine, but like, gosh oh golly gee, I wish that my retro handheld was a Steam machine. That sure would be swell. Ah well. We interrupt this broadcast for an important broadcast. Retro handhelds are now Steam machines. You don't need to wait for Steam machines anymore, or get them when they come out. You can just use your retro handheld that you already have. And now back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. When did I get a TV? Oh dang, did I just imagine that? Does this mean my retro handheld isn't actually a Steam machine? Oh, I guess I imagined the handheld too. I don't have one of those. Okay, well, I could just read this book instead then, I guess. Hey there, how's it going? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video. Today, I get into these like micro obsessions, hyperfixations. My mom calls them my little phases, like I'm gonna grow out of them any day now, like my goth phase. And yeah, some of them I do move on from. I was super into meditation apps for like a week. I spent money on premium subscriptions and then I just stressed myself out trying to pick which calm voice to listen to and decided that mindfulness is a scam. But some things do stick around. They just move in and become part of my personality, like the color orange, my Miu Mini, root beer, feeling overwhelmed by the crushing pressure I put on myself to have my life figured out by now, Dungeons and Dragons. These things are now just woven into the complex tapestry that is TechDweeb. Right now, the thing is kind of a two-part obsession: indie PC games and playing them on my handhelds. I don't think I need to tell you that indie games are amazing. They're fun and unique and true works of art and probably the best thing that's going on with gaming right now. And I can't stop playing them and buying them, which is unfortunate for my wallet. And the handheld part, PC games on retro handhelds, occupies a lot of my meager brain power. I made a whole bunch of videos about it. Maybe I'll bounce off this eventually, but I am so deep into playing PC games on my retro doodads that I can't see myself stopping anytime soon. Unless I die. But even if that happens, I'll probably still find a way. I've got some ideas. The other day, I was tinkering with my Retroid Pocket Flip 2, installing PC games in Game Native, just for funsies. At one point, it needed a charge, so I slapped it in my dock, and then it popped up on my screen, and I grabbed a controller, and then it hit me. These Android handhelds are powerful enough and Game Native is good enough that this is basically an indie game Steam machine, like a home PC gaming console. Not literally, but also yes, kinda literally. You got your Steam games, a clean front end, controller-friendly menus, cloud saves, achievements. It feels shockingly legit as a PC console. We're gonna get into all that right now. Let's start with a quick tour of what this is, how it works, and why you should care. I am using my Retroid Pocket Flip 2, plugged into a dock so that it acts like a little home console. The heart of the operation is an app called Game Native. That's where your PC games live. You scroll through your library, it looks all nice and console-like. You pick a game, launch it, and boom, you're playing. You got an in-game menu for settings, easy exit, plus Steam cloud saves and achievements. You can also use a front end. I've got ESDE set up with box art and screenshots and a theme to make it feel extra steamy. You can sleep the device mid-game and jump right back in later. And honestly, this is just fun and neat. Yet another trick that these amazing magical devices can do. Why not turn that old Retroid or iNeo doodad that you're not using into a dedicated home console? There's no reason not to. So do it, you goof. If you're picking a handheld to use for this, the big thing to be aware of is the chipset. You want Snapdragon. These chips use Adreno GPUs with great drivers, which makes a huge difference for PC games. Tons of handhelds use a Snapdragon chip. The Retroid Pocket 5, the Flip 2, the Pocket 6, the iNodin 2, the Portal, the Thor, the Odin 3, most iNeo Android handhelds too. It doesn't really matter which Snapdragon you get. As long as it's Snapdragon, you're probably fine. If you don't have a Snapdragon, like a Mali GPU that we have in a lot of Amberlic devices, you can still do this. Game Native will run, and lots of games will work. You'll just hit more compatibility issues, and you'll need to tinker more for some games. Still worth trying though. I've played plenty of PC games on non-Snapdragon devices, and they're fine when they behave. Obviously, the power of your device matters too. More power means better performance, and if you want to play higher end stuff, you're going to need more juice under the hood. Something like the Flip 2 with a Snapdragon 865 is just about the lowest that I'd recommend. It handles indie stuff great, and if you want heavier games, then you're gonna need something more powerful. That said, you get into diminishing returns territory when you get past like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 level hardware. So those are kind of your main tiers depending on the budget. I'm going to link to the best budget-friendly choices that I would personally pick in the thingy below. What's that? Why, yes, that Steam logo on my Retroid Pocket Flip 2 is 3D printed and taped on with double-sided tape. This is literally required to make this work. See, if I take this off, all it does now is remind you to subscribe to TechDweeb. Useless. Once you've got your handheld, you're basically ready to get some PC games in your life. The thing powering all this is an app called Game Native. I've made full guides about this, so go watch those if you want the dweeby details, but the short version is that you install it on your Android handheld or phone, then you log into Steam and you download your games and just run the games. The app handles drivers and all that scary stuff for you, which is where Snapdragon really shines since you get the good community drivers. Like I told you a few minutes ago while you were picking your nose. The reason this is extra spicy right now is all this Steam machine talk. Valve's been doing this PC game translation magic for a while. Proton lets Windows games run on Linux devices like the Steam Deck. For ARM chips, there is Fex doing a similar thing. Game Native is basically the middleman. It bundles all that into something simple so you can just run PC games on Android. It handles all the back-end stuff. It's so simple that even a dum-dum like me can figure it out, which means that a dum-dum like you probably can too. What it looks like is a clean little front end. You see your Steam library, you browse your games, install them, launch them. The games usually configure themselves and just go. If something doesn't work, there's a quick use known config option that fixes most problems. When you're in-game, it feels just like a PC. You've got an in-game menu for performance tweaks, some filters in there, control options. You can sort your library, switch views. I use carousel mode because, well, I like it better. I don't need to explain myself. Since you're logged into Steam, you get cloud saves and achievements popping up, so you get that dopamine hit every now and then. And this is where it gets really good, kind of the point of the whole video. Android devices can dock. You plug it into a TV and you grab a controller, and now you basically got a console. Everything is controller first. Very rarely you'll need to poke the screen for something weird, but mostly once it's set up, you can do almost everything from the couch like a civilized, lazy gamer. Handhelds and most of the settings, that works fine out of the box, but there are a few tweaks and extras that make this whole thing way better. First, you should head over to check your display settings. On most Android handhelds, you'll find these in System Settings under Handheld Settings. There's usually a Connect TV section where you can turn the handheld screen off when docked. I like leaving it on in case I need to poke it, but turning it off makes more sense for full console mode. Especially on the Flip 2 where you can fold the screen down and show off that steamy logo like a proud little dork. You can also choose where the audio goes. If your TV or monitor has speakers, you can send it there through the display port with your video. But if you've got external speakers plugged into the handheld, you can switch it to that instead. Another nice upgrade is changing your Android front end. Just like in handheld mode, setting up ESDE is a great way to really consoleize your little Steam machine thing. You can even bring in your Game Native games by exporting shortcuts right from within Game Native. I'm not going to go into detail here, but check out my guide if you want the full nerdy breakdown. There's also a ton of themes to mess with to customize the way it looks. The one that felt the most steamy was called Immersive Revisited. It's got this nice carousel of game boxes and big screenshots in the background. Not exactly Steam, but it hits the same vibe. It just feels like a proper console. Now, this is Steam Machine mode, which means that you're not going to be using the handheld controls, which means you're going to need a controller. For wireless, you can connect over Bluetooth or use a 2.4 GHz dongle if your dock has USB ports. My go-to is the GillyKit KK3 Max. This is my current main controller. I love this thing. I love the look, I love the feel, super easy to connect, no drama. I also like the 8BitDo 2C. That's more of a budget pick with a few limitations, but it feels great and it comes in a bunch of fun color jams. You can also go wired, which is honestly pretty darn nice for lots of reasons. No battery, no pairing, always ready, and you can wake the device straight from the controller. No futzing about with nothing. I've got 2 wired controllers that I really like. The GameSir Tegenaria Lite is one of my all-time favorites. It looks ridiculously cool, it feels great, and it's cheap. Like, it's suspiciously cheap. My other pick is the 8BitDo SN30 Pro wired version. That's perfect if you like the SNES vibe, but it also just works really well for PC games. One last thing you'll need is a way to hook this up to a TV or monitor. And you've got options. There are lots of dongles that you can dangle from your doodad. You can get a simple one with just HDMI and USB-C for charging and a USB-A hole to plug in a controller. If you want more controllers, you can go bigger with more holes, Ethernet, all that fancy stuff. My favorite portable dock is the one that I use with my Steam Deck, and that's this thing. I don't know if it has a name. Or you can go full-on big dock mode. These usually come in 2 styles, but they all give you charging, HDMI, and USB ports, and sometimes Ethernet and audio too. You've got top-loading docks like the Steam Deck dock for devices with the USB-C hole on the top. If yours is on the bottom, you can still do this, just flip it upside down, like a madman. And then there's bottom loading docks, which are usually called switch docks. I went with the Skull & Code Jump Gate. I like this one because the USB-C nub kind of wiggles. It can change angles and move a bit, which is great because not all handhelds lined up perfectly. It works with most of mine, and it does work with the Flip 2. Also, when the Flip 2 is on there, I can close the lid on it and pretend it's a real console, which is important for immersion and denial. And we're running long, so I'm not going to go into like specific games here. I'm going to have more PC games on Android videos coming up, and I've already got a whole bunch of other videos showing this kind of thing. So I'll link to some of those in the thingy below. Just know this, your device power really matters, but only to a point. If you want big fancy looking 3D games, you're going to need a beefier device. And even then, the performance can be hit or miss. Game Native is amazing, but it's not going to turn your handheld into an actual desktop PC. Let's calm down. That said, I am constantly surprised at what does run. Like a Skyrim used to need a decent gaming PC, and now it's just on your cheap little couch machine. Man, what a time to be alive. There is a ceiling though. Don't go installing Cyberpunk and expecting it to work. Actually, I don't even think that would fit on the Flip 2. PC games need to be installed on the internal storage of the device, so you can't install a bunch of large games on devices without lots of space. But TechDweeb, you say, 128 gigs isn't enough storage. To which I'd say, oh yeah? Well, check this out. Indie games are usually tiny. Some are like 50 megabytes. Most are under a gig. You can fit a ridiculous number of them on even a small device. That's the secret sauce. Grab an older handheld you're not using and just load it up with a pile of indies. And suddenly you've got a dedicated little console with a whole heck ton of games. You clear your backlog, give your old doodad a new purpose, and live the Steam Machine life all at once. It's a win-win. Except for my wallet. My wallet always loses when I open the Steam store. I made a video recently called "We Don't Need the Steam Deck Anymore," and it was kind of a clickbaity title, to be fair, because the Steam Deck runs lots of stuff that handhelds don't run, obviously. But the point was, if you mostly play indie games, older games, lower spec stuff, you can get away with a much cheaper Android handheld and still have a great experience playing the same games, plus all the nice Android conveniences. This is kind of like the Steam Machine version of that idea. If that's the kind of stuff you play, you probably don't need a $600 mini PC or a $1,000 Steam Machine or a $2,000 gaming PC or a $40,000 college diploma. A $200 Retroid Flip 2 can handle a surprising amount of it. PC gaming isn't locked to PC games anymore is kind of the point here. I mean, mostly. Some things don't work yet, but it's getting rare. Dex keeps improving, more games keep working, and it really does feel like we're heading towards a world where everything just runs. And I don't doubt we'll get there soon. And yeah, that's exciting for future stuff like SteamOS on ARM and the Steam Frame and all that, but we don't have to wait because this works right now. I liked it so much that I immediately sat down and started writing this script, and I'm still writing it. Present me is typing words that future me is saying to you right now, which means that I'm technically speaking to you from the past. Hello from the past. How's the future? Do we have flying cars yet? And now I'm talking to myself in my scripts, which means that it's late and I should go to bed, but I'll probably go play games on my Android Steam Machine instead and regret it tomorrow. So I'll go do that.